Hi guys, good morning. Today we would discuss the rule of inversion. In English grammar, there is a chapter known as inversion of sentence. Basically, if we talk about inversion in English grammar, inversion refers to a type of sentence which is supposed to start with an adverb, and the pattern of subject plus verb here seems to be diverted, and here we are not going to take a subject in the sentence. We are going to start a sentence with an adverb and with an helping verb, and the position of subject will fall next after the use of adverb and helping verb in the sentence. So guys, we can say that if a sentence starts with an adverb and with an helping verb, with its own helping verb according to the subject, then we can say that the sentence is in its inversion form. In English grammar, as we know that the structure of a sentence is supposed to start with a subject plus verb. But in case of inversion, the place of subject is supposed to be taken by helping verb, and the place of helping verb is supposed to be taken by a subject in a sentence. So we can say that when we talk about inversion is in a sentence, we can say that it is a sentence which is supposed to start from an adverb and from an helping verb, and the position of subject will fall next after helping verb in a sentence. So basically, now I want to tell you why do we use inversion in English grammar. So guys, we want to inform you, when we want to give emphasis, when we want to give any type of emphasis in any sentence, then we can use inversion. Inversion refers to a type of emphasis. It refers to a type of emphasis. So whenever we want to give emphasis in a sentence, we use inversion. In case of interrogative sentences, we have seen they also start either with an adverb or with an helping verb, and the subject will fall next after the helping verb. But interrogative sentences cannot be called a form of inversion because they are interrogative sentences. But the basic difference between interrogative sentences and the sentences of inversion is that, on one hand, interrogative sentences creates a question. They are in question answer form. But in case of inversion, the sentence is supposed to be in positive form, but it gives an emphasis. But in case of interrogative sentences, they are sentences of interrogation. So but in case of inversion, sentences are in positive sense, they are not in interrogative sense. So this is the basic difference between interrogative sentence and sentences of inversion in English grammar. Now I want to focus inversion. Here basically two types of inversion are supposed to exist in English grammar. First type of inversion is called complete inversion or full inversion, and second type of inversion is called partial inversion in English grammar. So guys, first we are going to take partial inversion. Now we are going to talk about the basic difference between the partial inversion and complete inversion in this class. First, we would like to introduce you the basic difference between partial inversion and complete inversion in English grammar. When we talk about the partial inversion in English grammar, partial inversion refers to the use of an adverb and its helping verb before a main verb in a sentence. I repeat, the use of an adverb and helping verb refers to the partial inversion in a sentence. When we are going to start a sentence with an adverb, we would acquire its helping verb, and the helping verb is supposed to be taken not according to the adverb but according to the subject which will fall in the next. So we can say that when we start a sentence with an adverb, we would require its helping verb just before the subject. But in case of complete inversion, we start a sentence with an adverb, but here we put a subject after the use of adverb in a sentence. But in case of partial inversion, there is no such condition. Although we start a sentence with an adverb, but here after adverb we are going to use helping verb. So guys, the basic difference between the partial inversion and complete inversion is that on one hand, partial inversion is applying a helping verb just before the subject, but in case of complete inversion, we start the sentence with an adverb, but here we are not going to use a helping verb. After an adverb, we are going to use main verb in a sentence. But in case of partial inversion, main verb comes after the subject, but helping verb comes just after the use of an adverb in a sentence. If I say, for example, no sooner did I reach the station. No sooner did I reach the station. In this sentence, no sooner is working as an adverb in the sentence. Did is working as a helping verb in the sentence. I is a subject and reach is the main verb of the sentence. So the structure of sentence is in partial inversion. But in case of complete inversion, we can say that here comes Ram. Here comes Ram. Now here is an adverb. Comes is a main verb in the sentence and Ram is the subject of the sentence. So guys, here we have seen the basic difference between the partial inversion and the complete inversion. In case of complete inversion, we are going to use main verb just after an adverb. But in case of partial inversion, we are going to use main verb just after the subject. No sooner did I. Here we are using the subject before the main verb. But in case of complete inversion, we are going to use main verb before the subject. This is the basic difference between complete inversion and partial inversion in English grammar. So I repeat, in case of partial inversion, we are going to use helping verb just before the subject. We are going to use not helping verb but main verb. In case of complete inversion, we are going to use main verb before the subject. But in case of partial inversion, we are going to use main verb just after the subject. No sooner did I. Here I is a subject, and after I we are going to take main verb. So if a sentence is supposed to start with an adverb, in case of partial inversion, if a sentence is going to start with an adverb and its helping verb is necessary to put there, and after the helping verb we can use its own subject, and after subject we can put the main verb of the sentence. So guys, in case of complete inversion, although a sentence is supposed to start with an adverb, but here we are not going to use its own helping verb, but here we are applying the main verb of the sentence just before the subject. So we can say that in case of inversion in English grammar, there are two types of inversion. First is complete inversion and another is partial inversion. Complete inversion requires a subject just after the verb. In case of complete inversion, when we talk about the complete inversion, subject would fall after the verb, but in case of partial inversion, subject is supposed to take its own verb in a sentence. As we said that, no sooner did I reach the station. Here I is a subject and I is going to take its own main verb just after it. So guys, now we are going to talk about the basic pattern in which an inversion works in a sentence. So if we want to give emphasis, then we can use inversion. If we don't want any type of emphasis to be given in a sentence, we cannot use inversion in English grammar. So for inversion, it is compulsory. Inversions cannot be made of principle of those sentences which exist in principal clause. We cannot make those sentences which are already in principal clause. Inversions can be made only those sentences which are in subordinate clause. Now we want to discuss something about the clauses in this chapter. So clauses, there are only two types of clauses. First is principal clause and second is subordinate clause. In case of principal clause can exist. First of all, we want to make a basic difference between a sentence and a clause. Sentence and a clause. Here we would take just 2 minutes to clarify the fact between the sentence and clauses, because without making a better understanding on the part of a sentence and a clause, we would not go further. So here we want to clarify the basic difference between a sentence and a clause. A clause cannot exist alone in a sentence. A clause cannot exist alone in English grammar, but a sentence can exist alone in English grammar. I repeat, a clause cannot exist alone in English grammar, but a sentence can exist alone in English grammar. A clause cannot give its complete meaning, but a sentence gives its own complete meaning. So if we talk about clauses, there are three types of clauses. And if we talk about principal clause and subordinate clause, principal clause is supposed to have only one variance, but in case of subordinate clause is supposed to be divided into three parts. But here now we cannot take these three parts at this time, because it would require much time. So I would like to introduce all its variants in the next class. So here we are going to use only describe only inversion in English grammar. So here we are talking about clauses. There are two types of difference between clause and a sentence. I would like to repeat the difference between clause and a sentence. A clause can exist alone, but a clause cannot exist alone, but a sentence can exist alone in a sentence. A clause will require another sentence, a complete sense, a sentence of complete sense. A clause would require a sentence which is supposed to give a complete sense, because it cannot exist alone in English grammar. But a sentence is complete in itself. So this is the basic difference between clause and sentence. But now here we are talking about the inversion in English grammar. Inversions are made only of those sentences which are in subordinate clause. The sentences of principal clause can be kept under the category of inversions. But if we have complete inversion, sentence of a complete inversion. In other words, a sentence of complete inversion can be kept under the category of principal clause. So if we talk about partial inversion, in case of partial inversion, we have seen no sooner did I reach the station. No sooner did I reach the station. Sentence is incomplete in itself because it is a sentence of subordinate clause. So if I say here comes Ram, here comes Ram. This is a sentence of principal clause and it is giving its own complete meaning. But the first sentence, no sooner did I reach the station, this is not giving the complete sense, because we would have to add some extra information, or we would have to connect it with a sentence of principal clause. So this is the basic difference between partial inversion and complete inversion, where we can use a partial inversion and where we can use a complete inversion in English grammar. So guys, we would like to take some examples of inversions. First of all, we want to introduce some words, some negative words, where partial inversion is supposed to occur in a sentence. In case of negative words as never, seldom, no sooner, hardly, to such an extent, so badly, it means negative words when take their position at the very beginning of a sentence, then inversion is necessary to put there. So if we are going to start a sentence with an adverb of negation or adverb of affirmation, we have already told you these types of adverbs, and here we are going to take some examples. If I say never have I seen such a beautiful place. Never have I seen such a beautiful place. In this sentence, after never, we are going to use a helping verb. Never have I seen. Here, after have, we are using the subject, and we are going to take helping verb not according to adverb, but according to the subject used in the sentence. So never have I seen such a beautiful place. Here, never is working as an adverb in the sentence. Have is working as a helping verb in a sentence. I is a subject. Seen is the main verb of the sentence. So guys, here partial inversion is supposed to occur in the sentence. I would like to take some another examples. Rarely did she go there. Rarely did she go there. Rarely is working as an adverb in the sentence. Did is working as a helping verb in the sentence. I is a subject. Go is the main verb. And there is another adverb in the sentence. Next, seldom have I seen such a beautiful place. This is the same structure. Hardly had I entered the class when it began to rain. Hardly had I entered the class. Hardly had I entered the class when it began to rain. At no time will he come here for our help. At no time will he come here for our help. Next, to such an extent has this dam been uttered by the administration. So guys, I would like to explain the inversion now here. So in case of inversion, we have observed that helping verb comes just after an adverb in a sentence. If we are going to start a sentence with an adverb, I repeat, when we are going to start a sentence with an adverb, we can use helping verb just after the adverb. This is the pattern of partial inversion in English grammar. I repeat, in case of partial inversion, when a sentence is supposed to start with an adverb and it is going to give a negative sense, a negative meaning. In other words, we can say that if we are going to use some negative words at the very starting point of a sentence, then we can use the helping verb just before the subject in a sentence. So, rarely did he go there. Rarely did he go there. No sooner did I reach the station. So, here adverb is supposed to start a sentence, and it is taking its own helping verb according to the subject in the sentence. This is the pattern of partial inversion in English grammar. Now we would like to take some other examples of complete inversion in this class. So in case of complete inversion, when a sentence is supposed to start with an adverb, but after an adverb we are not going to take helping verb. After an adverb we are going to take a verb. This is the complete inversion. If we are going to take a verb just after an adverb in the sentence. This is the complete inversion. For another thing, we can say that we cannot use everywhere a complete inversion. We cannot use everywhere complete inversion. The pattern of complete inversion cannot be implemented everywhere in a sentence. So, there is some condition when we are going to use complete inversion in a sentence. So, I would like to introduce all those patterns here. First of all, I want to introduce some another aspects of full inversions. When we have a verb which is transitive, it means if we have a transitive verb we cannot make full inversion of the sentence. We can make only we can make inversion of those sentences which are supposed to have intransitive verbs. If sentence is supposed to have a transitive verb, we cannot make its full inversion. So it depends upon the verb, which type of verb we are going to use in the sentence. If the verb is supposed to be in transitive form, we cannot make its full inversion. If the verb is supposed to be in intransitive form, we can make its inversion. So to make a sentence in inversion form, it is necessary to have an intransitive verb in the sentence. If I say, under a tree was lying two boys. Under a tree was lying two boys. The sentence is wrong, because under a tree, we cannot make under a tree a subject in the sentence. Under a tree is working as an adverb in the sentence, and we cannot take verb according to the adverb used in the sentence, but according to the subject. We can take helping verb not according to the adverb used in the sentence, but we can take helping verb according to the subject used in the sentence. So here subject is two boys. Subject is two boys. So we can take the helping verb according to two boys. So we can say that under a tree were lying two boys. Under a tree were lying two boys, because two boys is working as a subject in the sentence. Under a tree is an adverb in the sentence. Were is working as a helping verb in the sentence. Lying is working as the main verb in the sentence. So the basic structure is under a tree were lying two students, two boys. In another example, if I say under a tree were talking two boys. Under a tree were talking two boys. This sentence would be wrong, because talking and lying, both verbs are different. Lying is referring to a position, but talking is not a position, but an activity. And when we are talking about any type of activity in the sentence, it cannot accept full inversion. So this sentence would be wrong here. We can say that two girls were talking under a tree. This sentence is right. Two girls were talking under a tree. There are such conditions when we would like to apply inversion sentence. In case of be, in case of go, in case of come, in case of fly, in case of walk, in case of stand, in case of sit, in case of lie, in case of swim, in case of hang, in case of march, roll, live, etc. These verbs, these types of verbs can take full inversion in English grammar. Only these type of verb can take full inversion in English grammar. If I say, there lived a king. There lived a king. This sentence is right. Here, complete inversion, sense of complete inversion is supposed to be applied in the sentence. There lived a king. There is working as an adverb in the sentence. Lived is working as a verb in the sentence. A king is working as a subject in the sentence. So the structure of the sentence is complete in itself, and it is a complete inversion. here Ram comes, the sentence is wrong, because we cannot say that here Ram comes. If we are going to start a sentence with an adverb, we cannot take the subject. In some cases, in case of go, come, in case of sit, in case of sleep, in case of swim, there are some types of verbs which cannot apply complete inversion in a sentence. So we can say that here comes Ram, here comes Ram. If we can say that here speaks Mohan, here speaks Mohan, we cannot say that here speaks Mohan, because speak is a verb which is showing, which is referring to a type of activity in the sentence. So, and coming and going is not showing any type of activity in the sentence. So, in case of speak, and speak is a transitive verb, and we have already told you that in case of transitive verbs we cannot make a full inversion in the sentence. So guys, I would like to close the class now. We would meet in our next class. Thank you.